communities, though. I think it's just like with the government. You know, we get to arguments about voting, and within our community, to your point, we have been systematically programmed to not vote because we can't trust the government. But your vote is supposed to count to help put people in office to help your situation or whatever.
Right.
So for me, the biggest problem I have when people complain about, well, nothing's changed, but they don't vote, right? They don't do anything to help. They just sit on the corner and complain about it, but do nothing. And then at the same time, they allow different things to go on in their communities. And I know we're at a different age, because to your point, like back in the day when I was little, we in North Carolina, you could keep the keys in the car and go to sleep with a door unlocked and go to, and not have to worry about, because everybody knew everybody. I remember my grandmother would drive down the road and just throw her hand up. And I'm like, Grandma, who you waving to? Well, I don't know. It's been somebody live on the road, somebody I know. So I'm speaking, right? But nowadays, it's society, the way that we have developed this society, like where they've alienated everybody, and everybody wants to stay to themselves. Oh, that's not my problem. That's not my business. But we can't live on this planet and not something be somebody's business, right? Because at the end of the day, we all got to come into it. Because when the Black Panthers came together, think about it. They was doing stuff in the community, even though, they were free food, schools, daycare, and then they got torn apart because of. And there was challenge.
So let me say this, right, regarding the Black Panthers and everything, right? Anytime a black organization or something like this start doing things for their people, stuff like this, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to be taken down and that organization will be destroyed. You got the KKK, you got all these racist organizations that the government know who they are, and they still exist throughout the day and do basically whatever they want to.
I agree, but we have to, at some point though, I think that there's got to be, because, and truth be told, in some of these organizations, it be our own kind bringing us down.
True. That's right.
Right.
That we don't unify like other organizations.
We don't unify like the KKK. We don't unify like the Jews. It's crazy how they over here mad about, they as in the U.S. government is mad about what's going on over there in Palestine. But you've been subjecting black people to the same shit they've been going through for the last 400 years. Like, I'm confused. Why are we? I'm absolutely confused. But I'm taking up the conversation. Let me shut up.
All right, Tanya, I need you to jump in. Greg, Bobby, and Val.
My card is, are black people safe in America? No. And my take on it is, we have to look at the fact that they brought us over here for a reason, to make money. And once we stop being a money maker for them, then we're no good to them. So therefore, they say, okay, they done took away slavery. We can't make money off them, through slavery anymore. So what do? They go ahead and bring out this law, the 13th, about, hey, okay, we can't make them pick our cotton, but we can come up with these jacked up laws where we have to arrest them, then incarcerate them, then we can go ahead and send them out to the cotton fields, send them to the railroad, chain gang, and then with each passing century, you might say, for lack of better words, or quarter, but the point being is, once they see where, okay, we can't make any money off them this way, then we'll go about making money off them another way. So, to that end, I say about that 13th. Now, talk about that mass incarceration and say, well, okay, we'll just pile them in there, the jails. We're not going to give them any type of skills, when they re-enter society, that there will be marketable skills or profitable people or upstanding citizens. So we'll just keep them in that little wheel that they just keep going around like that gerbil and everything. So then they start making furniture in the prisons. Making furniture. That's the modern day slavery. They make, give them what, $1 a day or something like that for the labor, but they're making probably $500 off each piece of furniture that they make.
Yeah, they just outlawed that in one of the states. I think Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
Where they outlawed the fact that you can't go to jail, because that's what jails do. Like we talked before, people like, you mad because you getting Indians on the phone. The more mad you get, the transfer is going to be an inmate on the phone.
Yeah.
Because they can work anytime, 24 hours a
I'd be
day.
glad to get out of that
And be out
jail
of the
system.
cell and be on the phone calling you. Hello? Oh, this is Comcast. You got a problem with your bill? And do it from the computer there.
They're already doing that. They have the centers, the telemarketing centers, and they have the order centrals already set up in the jails now.
Yeah.
Where you think when you're ordering stuff from just say Macy's, you're ordering stuff and you got a call center coming in, they're actually in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But
They're
to
in
me,
prison.
That's a
and
good
that's what they're doing.
idea because it's too many times that they come out and they don't have any skill sets, they don't have any education. But to the point of what we're talking about, since my card, this is hard for me, says that I need to be neutral.
That's mine too.
And so, just to play devil's advocate, Sherry mentioned about other cultures that stick together and make sure that this doesn't happen to them. This only happens to African Americans, and I have yet to figure out what we can do to bring it together. But we as a people need to be responsible for what goes on. We can identify, as you already have, of all the things that have gone wrong and will go wrong, but until we as a community don't turn on ourselves.
Yeah.
So although all these things have happened with the government, and I'm not saying they're innocent in any of this, but we have got to figure out a way to bring us together.
But I think a lot of it for us is we are consumers, not owners.
Yes.
So you really, as being black, you can't say you want to buy black. It's not possible. In the country, you've been here forever. We love barbecue, but we don't own barbecue pork ribs from the top to the bottom. We don't have pig farmers. We don't have all those things. And systematically it's been set up that way. But at the same time, we know that it's been set up that way, and yet we've done nothing to change it.
That's what I'm getting at. When I say trying to be neutral with this, just like you said, beauty supply places. I haven't yet to walk into one that's black owned. And I know that from talking to some of my Asian friends that they purposely will not sell to us if we even buy the store.
I got a friend that's opening one in Maryland. So I'll tell you about it.
But that's what I was going to say. So to that point, if you find a way around that, and I think our people are very ingenious. As much as our prisons are full of our people, they're very talented people. They're, and I think what needs to be done is some redirection. I can sit here all day and tell you about that, but I don't know how we can do that with such a large group of people.
Yeah, it's more opportunities because the same people that are in prison could be at Harvard.
Yeah.
They can take a product, no marketing, and sell it
Exactly.
in the community and make millions of dollars. But they don't have the opportunity to take them same skills and take a product and do it for a company. They won't give them that door won't open up.
Well, I don't even want it to be the situation of when the door won't open up. And I can speak to you guys that have been in the industry. You found your way around when they shut that door. So we don't need to wait for them to open it up. What I'm saying is I think we need to stop being against each other, first point, which will make it better, because there's certain folks that think because you live in a certain neighborhood that you think that you're better than them or different than them, and that's not always the case. You don't believe that, but they think that you do. So we got to get past that mentality of
Stereotyping each other.
It doesn't need to
Exactly.
be one. It doesn't like when you see entertainment, you'll see that one funny comedian that's black. It could be white, several white ones, but we'll have Chris Rock, we'll have Kevin Hart, but it's always that one that can do all the things. We don't get to the point where they can all be funny. Why can't they all get in the door?
But that transpires across all professions. In my profession, I was usually one or two of everybody else. It was just me and maybe one other black person, or me as a female African American, to kill two birds with one stone. So I think what we need to start trying to figure out a way to do our own situation and look out for ourselves. Jews don't wait for you to open the door for them, and they weren't always rich.
But it goes back to his point, though.
Yeah.
It goes back to what's been taught and bred in us. So what we
Well, our start was a different start
yeah,
than
and that's
everybody else in the
but
whole
you know
world.
what? And I get that because at the end of the day, though, at some point we still got to take ownership to our own future and our futures of our next generation. And I'm not discrediting or I'm not taking away from where we came from, but we got to figure out how to get to the next step. But it's in what we do with the infighting and turning our noses. To your point, what was it? The Joneses back in the day, keeping up with the Joneses, right? But at the end of the day, the reality of it is we're all of the same people.
Right, but let me say this, right? I agree with what y'all are saying, right? But don't y'all think this basically boils down to greed? I mean,
Yes.
you had rappers in the 90s that didn't want to use that foul language, stuff like this, but the corporations that own those businesses and stuff like this, right? Well, if you don't put the foul language in there, we're not promoting you, not putting you into the
Oh, absolutely.
into the public.
It's-
And you go with the redlining district and black people can't live here because too many white people, or you can't get a loan and stuff from the bank because you black and stuff, and your income is there, your history as far as your record is there, and you still deny it.
But to Val's point, we got to use some of these opportunities when people are in position need to open the doors and develop opportunities for others. Sometimes when we get to these places, we don't want to look back. We just say, "Oh shit, I'm here, and I'm gonna be here until I can be here, and I don't care about nobody else getting here where I am." And it's unfortunate, but that's the mindset that we've been in, and it's just like the incarceration, like in most hoods. I hate to be say that, but they wear badges robbing people. There was a 13-year-old. I'll never forget this. Last year, 13-year-old in D.C. He got shot and killed. Right, breaking into cars. Right. His mom was on TV talking about he was a breadwinner.
Yeah.
How is he a breadwinner at 13? Right.
I know that to be. I know that personally.
Right, and it's scary because the mama's. Your 13-year-old son is out on a Tuesday night at 4 a.m. robbing cars when he should be in bed ready to go to school the next day. You on TV crying because he out doing some shit he ain't supposed to be doing and got shot and killed, right? And now you mad and you want the guy who killed him, whose property was being damaged, who he wakes up every morning to go get the shit, to go work to get the shit he got.
That's my whole point. There's no respect amongst us.
Our community.
Which is
Some
what I
of
was
our
trying to
community.
get. Yeah, and just like Jay-Z. Jay-Z didn't start out being stinking rich. Jay-Z didn't start out being stinking rich. And he saw what was going on. He said, the heck with this, I'll start my own label. But in starting your own thing, like you said, Sherry, going back and trying to help others or do something in the community to help these young folks see that there's more to this than living to be 24, 25, because quote unquote, as they say, I'm going to die anyway. And get their mind turned away from the possibilities of nothing at all, and I'm not going to be here long anyway, which gives them the right in their minds to do what they do. And like I said, I think our people are a unique community because of where we came from and how we've been treated, and getting past the point of no country, all of that. And when they say go back to where you came from, well, this is where I came from. I don't know anything about anything else. And we need to find a way to put our arms around people and let them know that because someone says that to you, that doesn't bring you down. That doesn't change what you want to be.
But it's a saying, and my ex-boyfriend used to always say this to me: if you just use your powers for good, you go so far.
Yeah.
If we just use our powers for good, you know what I mean? But Bobby, I'm sorry, you wanted to.
But good. Good is like you were saying. Like it's there has to be a change in the community. There is systematic racism. There's systematic things that are put in place. Are black people as a whole safe in America? No. Some are. Some do. We can't take advantages for us. Some were in better situations than others.
They stopped. Who was it on? What's the California highway? I think
The Ventura Highway.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Tyler Perry got pulled over. Okay? So they see you're just another black man.
You are?
And like my mama said, I don't care how educated you are, how smart you are, how you've done well. You will always be a little black girl in their eyes.
You will, but
She said, but you need to understand that that's not who you are because someone else told you that.
Don't let someone else define who you
nobody can
are.
find you. But you will. We will sit at this table and be in a better situation than somebody else that will be in Southeast DC right now.
Correct.
And we will have the opportunities to make different choices and make different decisions than they would.
Correct.
That will give us an advantage to what we have. We got a choice and a chance every day. And that's what you can do with it. But some people make decisions on a short-term problem and don't want to take the long-term way out. It's easier to go sell drugs than go to school and get a job. And that's the real thing that pushes everybody, because you can go sell it before you can really go to school.
But let's say this though, and I'm going to use a personal situation because Doug want to bring it up. But this is what ties into what we're talking about in relation to support. I think the problem is you have people in positions that don't want to take a stand or support your voice and what they do. So, for example, for me speaking personally, in 1986, my brother was found strung up on a tree in Montgomery County, Maryland. Okay. Police proved, my family, my mom, up until she passed away in 2009, fought the system, Montgomery County, right? Trying to convince them that he didn't do it. Somebody put him on that tree, right? The system, though, everybody protects everybody. It's that blue wall, right? So you think, though, if a black man get in position, at the minimum, acknowledge publicly that there was something wrong with the investigation of how my brother got strung up on a tree in 1986, right? There's a black chief of police, Chief Jones. You go ahead and put that online if you want to. He can't stand me now, and the feelings are mutual. He has sat in this position for at least 5-6 years now. All I've asked him is to acknowledge. I ain't asking you to do no investigation because your detective hid all the evidence. Your detective destroyed evidence. Your detective basically fucked up paperwork. Your detective lied. For example, real cute, because the whole docu-series is on it. There's a 3-part docu-series called The Uprooted on Discovery Plus. They shot it last year. The medical examiner, my brother's body was sent from the scene to the funeral home choice of the detective. He should have went to Baltimore, right? You know what we get? Oh, that was a mistake. That policy, policy and procedure has since changed. That don't help me now.
Let me ask you a question. And I saw something on the news. That person, I can't call his name, who was presiding over your brother's case, aren't they reopening those cases?
Are you talking about Doug Gansler?
Yeah. Aren't they reopening those cases because they found him to be less than credible? I guess I can.
I didn't see that. I gotta look that up.
Okay. Well, they've been like, we'll look it up and then we will come back and talk about it some more after we do a little more research on that. But I'm sure of it because it happened after George Floyd.
But that's
everybody. So thank you all, and we will resume.
Oh, we done?
For part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
yes. So we'll do one last thing where we go around the table and we just have everybody say what they would like to see in terms of our community we could do better in 2024, or what sort of things that you think could, be a positive change for our community in 2024.
But let me. I want to this point though. Back to Chief Jones. He's a black man.
Go ahead.
He's a black man sitting in a position that could make a change, but he wants to do the toe and line thing. So it goes back to my point about you get black people in these positions, and they don't where they can implement change, but they don't want to because they're either scared or they too happy. They sit on their laurels, or they comfortable.
They're
and
black, but they're not a partner.
Right there, and that's a problem because it's a circle, and it's a gerbil on a wheel. It's unfortunate. Let's say an officer goes up and gets high up in the rankings, right? And then he gets to Jones, who is a company guy. Now you got this black man who gonna speak up and speak out, but you got the company do every towing the line. Who do you think they go? To your point, the corporation gonna go after, or go for, or be supportive
Or
of
just
him,
get rid of them. Just move
right?
them
Or
out
just
of the way.
move them out the way, right?
Yeah,
So
they
it's
got to
sad.
go
And it
So,
takes
But
some
also
reform to
the
get
person that's in that position, we all know who put him in there. You know, the blacks didn't put him in there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they
So
put him in there for
therefore, he got he want to eat every day.
I sign your check.
yeah.
Bottom line.
So that
Sorry.
goes to voting to change who
So,
gets put in there
Tanya,
to
you
pick
want to
that.
go around? Start with you. With,
Okay.
Okay, my thoughts are that first of all, we as a people are going to have to actually come together, to everyone's point here, actually talk and everything, instead of telling, oh, you can't be, instead of, they're not, we don't accept constructive criticism. We don't accept that from each other. We'll attack each other just because I asked your child, not to do something, or I saw something was wrong and I'm trying to tell you and you don't want to hear it. And so until we get to a point where we can actually, it takes a village type of thing to actually build and trust each other, because someone will come to us as a black business owner or a black person who would like to start a business and to help others come along. And no, I'm not doing this. I'm not investing my money. I'm not giving you my information. However, if someone else that doesn't look like us tell them, they'll believe them, give them the money and do everything like that. And until we're ready to invest in each other, we're not going to move on. Because it's unfortunate that we have the crab syndrome of pulling us down all the time and lifting up others. And then we get into these positions, and we can help and pull up each other, just kind of like the Oprah thing recently with Taraji and all that going on. So we have the opportunity to do that. We have the voice, we have the platform, we can actually make these things happen, and we're not going to do it because we always want to stay a step or so ahead of everyone. And until we stop doing that.
Fear too.
Yeah, some of it is.
It's fear.
For sure. And it's unfortunate, but if we don't help each other and then get in there and figure that when we get to these positions and get into different areas where we can help one another, we don't, because we figure now we're up in a different echelon with people and we're more accepted by whites or other people who don't look like us. So we go ahead and get there, and when something happens, they'll use you, and we're not even as black people realizing that we're being used for their bottom line. And so when they get what they want, then they get rid of you, and you'll understand why. Because they're going to remind us that we're black and to stay in the place that they say that we're supposed to be. And then when we get ahead of that, and and they're saying, well, now she's getting too big for her britches, so to speak. Now we're going to have to just move her along, because you're not supposed to have that position. And that money and that title and the notoriety and everything is really not for you. It's meant for someone else.
For me, I think it starts with the community level. I think that we have to get back into the Boys and Girls Clubs, the YMCAs, the YWCAs, after school programs, the things that kids could look forward to and get them off these streets and off these corners and not in the company of I'm not going to say bad people, but inappropriate people. Give them other ideas and suggestions and conversations and ideologies and futures to look forward to, as opposed to right now. Think about it. Who said it? I mean, systematically, there is no more Boys and Girls Clubs, right?
For a reason, too.
Exactly. There is no more YWCAs and YMCAs. I came up in the YMCA, so come on, no more after-school programs. Like, wait, they go home now, they sit in front of a video game, and they sit in front of, or they on the corner. So, yeah, that's me, going back to community.
Well, one of the things that I think we as a people going to have to address is financial literacy. That's the one thing in the school systems that has been talked about, and there's a reason why they don't want people to learn this. I mean, people don't need to learn algebra 2, trigonometry. They don't need to know that stuff. They're never going to use it. But everybody, when you become an adult, you're going to have to deal with credit. You're going to have to deal with banks, insurance, all these things that's holding us back, holding people back. If you don't know, the problem is that it's people learn about the finances from their environment or the households they come from. And if your family does not have, do you come from a family that is financially literate, understands about credit and things like that, understands about retirement, how to save money, you're stuck. And we have to come to this crossroad and understand that this is something, because The reason why people are going to remain poor and feel they're going to have to rob banks and go in these stores and do these mass stuff because they can't figure out you're trapped. You are absolutely trapped because this world cannot operate unless there's an underclass. The middle class and the upper class, their survival is based on X amount of people taking low menial jobs, and it's reserved for people who don't know. We're not going to teach you in the schools. And that's something that we as a people want to have to address in order for us to grow to the next